And then once you get over that, once you learn to do that well, then the second challenge is standing up on the board. And then third, I would be like, navigating the waves. I don't think I ever fully got to like the third part, but the second part I got on standing up on the board. I got on my first lesson, which was really exciting. Story time. So in this weekly video with me, Kirsten, I'm going to talk about one of the random things that I have done while living abroad. I want to make this kind of like a series, so hopefully I will remember to talk more about the random things that I've done while living abroad, or the random experiences that I've had while living abroad. So if you want to hear about that, then make sure you subscribe. And if you're new here, my name is Kirsten. I think I said that before. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for being here and thank you for coming back. My name is Kirsten. I like to share weekly videos on what it's like living abroad. I also like to talk about money and the financial side of living abroad, as I am a personal finance writer and a coach helping people. And I also just like to share random things that are going on in my life to hopefully inspire you, impact you, maybe make you smile in some way, shape, or form. So, one of the random things that I have tried while living abroad happened when I was living in Panama. So I lived in Panama for 2 years, and I have written about my experience on in several different articles. And the experience that I'm going to talk about now is actually one of the first articles that I ever wrote, or one of the first blog posts that I ever wrote for a different publication. And at the time, I was living in Panama. It was my second year there, and I had moved from Panama City to a beach town called Playa Venao. And when I lived there, it was very underdeveloped. Like, it was just a few hotels, and a few restaurants, and like one little small supermarket that was heavily overpriced. And the place was hard to get to. Like, it was about 4.5 hours from Panama City through this very long, bumpy road. But it was famous for surfing. It was known to be one of the best surf spots in Panama. So people came from all over the world, literally from Europe, from, I think we had someone from Australia one time, from South America, from Central America, to surf these amazing waves that happened in Playa Venao. And so I did not move to this region to surf. Actually, I did not know how to surf when I moved there. And I moved there to teach English at a new school that had just come. A new school, a new English school that was just being implemented or just being put into place there. So that was my motive to move there. And for the first couple of months, even though I come from California, and so you probably think like, oh, um, you know how to surf because you're in California. No, surfing in California involved waking up very early, having a wetsuit because the Pacific Ocean is freezing, and going out, onto the ocean early in the morning and trying to catch a wave. That was not me. That was never my life. Nothing against it. I love the water. I love being in the water. I love the ocean, but surfing just was never something that really caught my attention. When I was a kid, I loved like boogie boarding and bodyboarding and things like that. But surfing just kind of seemed like a separate beast. So when I moved to Playa Venao, the first couple of months, I was not surfing. I was getting into the water, but surfing just didn't. I don't know why. I can't even really remember why I wasn't super like adamant about learning to surf right away. But and because of that, because I wasn't like a surfer, it did kind of interrupt how I got along with people and how I integrated myself with new people and met new friends, because a lot of the people that were living there at the time, even though visitors, were all surfers. So I kind of felt socially excluded at some times. But that's a story for another day. So I so one day I don't know what motivated me. I think maybe because I wanted to write about something. I think because I was starting my freelance writing journey, and I was just like, well, I think it would be really cool to write about like my first experience surfing. So I decided to. I think it was my introduction. I don't know why I couldn't just be like, I want to take a surf lesson. I think I had it to be like, oh, I am writing an article, so that's why I'm taking a surf lesson. I don't know. But nonetheless, I took my first lesson and it went surprisingly better than I thought. I and what I mean is usually like the whole objective of getting on, first of all, I want to say that one of the first things I learned was that surfing is mostly, a lot of it's just like paddling. A lot of it is just, that's kind of like the first battle when it comes to the surfing. And then once you get over that, once you learn to do that well, then the second challenge is standing up on the board. And then third, I would be like, navigating the waves. I don't think I ever fully got to like the third part, but the second part I got on standing up on the board. I got on my first lesson, which was really exciting. Being able to stand up on the board, during my first lesson, even though I was just riding the like white waters, the very like the little waves, I wasn't riding the big waves, let's not get crazy. But it was really empowering and it felt really freeing. And it does, I remember when I talked to somebody about surfing, they compared it to flying. Like when you really learn how to surf, like, it feels like you're flying. And I had that little bit of that sensation, gliding on the water, being pushed by this energy, this force. It was really amazing. And after my first lesson, I went out a couple of times with my friends. I practiced on my own sometimes. And when I was leaving Panama, I went to this place called Santa Catalina, and I did some surfing there as well. So it was really cool. And I was really proud of myself for trying something new, not being good at it at first, allowing myself to just be a beginner, allowing myself to fall off the board, allowing myself to fumble. And I think, too, one of the best things that I got from learning to surf or trying to surf was it connected me more to people. It connected me more to my friends that I already had. It connected me to new people. And I think that is something that I definitely take away from surfing. I haven't gone back to it since leaving Panama. I would like to one day. I know it's never too late to go back to something. But I think when it comes to trying new things or trying random things, I think one of the great aspects of that um, is the people that you meet. Learning a new skill is obviously really great and really empowering because it's so cool to say that, like, I never knew how to do this before. And now, whether you're good or not so good at something, going from zero, not knowing anything about a certain sport or activity, and then going to like, hey, I have a general understanding of this. I get how this works, or I tried it, is really cool and really important. And you never know what trying a new activity or trying a random thing will connect you to, what friendships, what communities you can grow, even if it's for a moment, even if it's for a short amount of time, or even if it's for a long amount of time. The connections that you can make are invaluable. And so yeah, so definitely I encourage you to try something random, try something new, whether it's, abroad or on your next trip or, in your hometown. And let me know in the comments what's something random that you have tried recently.